Always great catching up with my next guest, Brian Boom Kelleher, who finally is going to be back in action, taking on Ricky Simone at bantamweight this time, January 16th, UFC Fight Island. Boom, how's it going, buddy?
Business is booming, baby. How are you?
I'm doing well. So, we've known about this fight for a while. It's been in the works. You've got a decent amount of notice. When did you actually sign pen to paper on the Ricky Simone fight? Because you guys have been linked together for a while.
Yeah, I would say about like 3-4 weeks ago, I had a good amount of time, leading up to this one for the notice, and I'm sure that's why they wanted it back at bantamweight. So it worked out, plenty of time.
Are you excited to go to Fight Island?
Yeah, I'm excited to kind of get that experience. I haven't had it yet. I am kind of anticipating a long flight and the whole quarantine stuff, and I'm not a fan of that, but it's definitely going to be a once-in-a-lifetime experience, so I'm looking forward to that.
And I imagine first time going to Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, first time, yeah. And I get to bring my dad, too, so that's kind of cool.
Oh, awesome. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I was going to ask you about the itinerary. Have you sort of figured all that out yet? Because I know it's a bit of a hike to get it down there, so to speak.
Yeah, it's tough, man, because some guys are like, I can't take 2 weeks out of work, and they can't leave the family and stuff. So my dad, fortunately, he's retired. He's good to go. And then I got my striking coach and my jiu-jitsu coach. Him and one of my training partners are deciding which one's going to go, but really close with both of them. So we got a good little team going over there.
Let's talk about, bantamweight. Obviously, it's you fought at featherweight most of these fights just because they were short notice. You didn't have to cut the extra weight. But we do have Christmas coming up, and we do have a bit of a, obviously it's a long flight to get down there. So have you sort of anticipated that? Are you doing anything differently for this cut just with knowing what you got coming ahead?
Yeah, talking with Clint and Nicole from the PI, just keeping my nutrition really good, far out from the fight. I kind of plateaued with the weight for a while. That was stressful, but now I'm starting to see a little bit of losses, so that's good. And I still have plenty of time, 5 weeks or so, maybe a little less. But I think the long flights and the quarantine is going to be a challenge, especially with the cutting the weight in the hotel room with not much partners, it's whoever's in your room essentially. But we'll make do, we'll work around it and get it done. I feel really good. My diet's been on point. So,
how do you feel like you match up against Ricky Simone in this fight?
I love it, man. I think when this fight first got announced, a lot of people were behind it, a lot of excitement from the fans I noticed on Twitter. So I kind of was like, man, I want to get this fight going. I'm happy the fans were excited. So he's tough, gritty guy. He's very well-rounded. He likes to strike. He has good takedowns, wrestling background. So I'm ready for all areas. I think the thing about me is I'm really good with improvisation in there. If he tries to take me down, I have chokes that I could catch him with. And I think I can get some takedowns of my own too.
Any past opponents remind you of him, whether it's the build or the style matchup, anything like that?
Not many. The only one I could think is probably Cody Stamann. I think he's a little bit bigger of a guy, but just the fact that he has a wrestling background and he's a solid striker is kind of what I'm dealing with here.
Okay, fair enough. How have you structured your training camp? Because I know obviously things are not ideal right now with the restrictions.
Yeah, it's getting worse, I think, actually, now coming up. It's been pretty good up until now. It's I've had like 3 or 4 sparring partners. I have had my brother, of course, and then my jiu-jitsu gym. We gather like maybe 4 guys that I've been training with, and we all kind of get together and get a hard session in. So I've had good amount of training partners that I'm comfortable with, and I feel well prepared, to be honest. I just don't know if things are going to change now coming up.
Yeah, is that, I guess, like, are you guys prepared in case things do really close down, you would be able to still train at home?
Yeah, the good thing is I have some equipment here. Also, I'm about to move into a new house. So,
congrats.
Yeah, thanks. So with that, I'm setting up a whole gym. I got mats. I'm getting an assault bike. I got an infrared sauna. So I'm getting that place ready to be like the boom room, just in case something goes down. Yeah,
are you gonna have a studio? I mean, you have a nice setup here. Is that the plan to sort of build something, or got that mapped out?
Yeah, this is like quite messy behind me. I have too much stuff in this little room, so I can't wait to get this house and like be able to stock stuff away and have like a nice little background setting for you guys.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Did Ally Quintus sell your house?
No. I didn't go to him. I had my friend who knew the contractor that I was working with, so it kind of worked out like that. But everyone was saying, they're like, what about Ally Quinta Realty? I was like, yeah, should have went to him, right?
You know what's so funny about that? So I saw Al in Chicago last year for the, I think it was when Sterling fought Pedro Munoz. And, I asked, we were just talking, and I'm like, oh, what's the best way to get in touch with you, Al? And he actually gave me his real estate card. I have it somewhere here. Yeah. It's hilarious.
Yeah, he's a workhorse with the real estate, man. I see him selling houses. I think he just sold Maraba House, actually.
Yeah, I did see that. So there you go. That's pretty interesting. And is it pretty close to where you're living now, or is it where are you moving to?
Yeah, it's like one town over. I honestly want to stay close to my family. We really close knit. My brother, they live really close by too, so I like that aspect of things. I don't want to go too far from my gyms or like my friends, so it worked out.
And then we talked about the cut. How's the weight right now? Pretty good?
Yeah, right now I'm actually hanging like 153. I'll be honest, I wasn't breaking 156 for a while, and I was a little bit worried because 21 pounds is not good for a bantamweight. I'm already kind of lean, so it's a lot. I try to kind of show up to fight week around 12 pounds over, and I know that I'm within range. So for me, it's just a mental battle. That's like the most annoying part about the sport. I love to fight. It's just the anticipation getting there and the weight cut. It's been a while. I've been fighting at 45, so my body kind of adjusted a little bit.
In terms of your corner, your dad, obviously, but is your brother going to be making the trip as well? Who's going to be in your corner?
Yeah, unfortunately, my brother can't make it because of work, which sucks. But we got a good, striking coach, Brian Michelino at Long Island MMA, and then we have my jiu-jitsu coach, Steve Caston, 10th Planet Black Belt. So if he doesn't come, I have a main training partner that has a backup if Steve can't make it. So just in case, I'll have someone to cut the weight with, and he's been kind of game planning with me for Ricky Simon for a couple months now. So.
You called him Simon there. I noticed you call him Simon a lot. Is that by design, or you just forget to call Simone? I was just curious.
I forget, but now I'm just running with it because the whole Simon Says thing that I was joking around about.
Okay.
So why not?
No, I like it. I mean, it does look like a Simon as opposed to Simone. Simone would be with an E, I would think, but I don't know how they pronounce it or whatever. Anyways, how's the fight playing out on the 16th? The reason I asked that, not just because I want to get your prediction, but also Simone's a pretty tough guy to finish. I mean, outside of Uriah Faber, and I think he had a loss earlier in his career that was a stoppage. This could be a 3-round fight. Well, how are you looking at this one?
Yeah, I'm looking at it as 3 rounds. I mean, that's just how I get mentally prepared. The finish is always going to be something I look for in the fight, just improvise. But like you say, he's so tough to finish. I know he's a gritty guy that likes to get in an exchange. That last fight with Borg, they were just kind of in the pocket fighting the whole time. So I know he's into the fight like that. But I am a guy that finds things, and I'm looking for finishes, chokes, knockouts. So I believe I'm a different guy than Borg. I think my power, my strength is going to be something different for him. So I think I'm looking at a really hard fought fight. I think it could be fight of the night, and there's some bonus money there. So I'm excited.
Where does this win put you if you get a win here on January 16th? Because this is back at bantamweight again, so they got to sort of count it with the rankings. Do you feel like a finish especially would kind of get you in that conversation?
Yeah, I think this is a good fight right now to put me back into that conversation. I think if I could finish a guy like Ricky Simone, that I could definitely call out somebody that's in that top 10 range, and I think I'll get that fight. I think that's a big statement right there. And he's had some big wins in the division himself. So this would make a statement for sure.
Do you like this Jake Paul stuff, him throwing garbage at Dylan Dennis and all that, and him trying to fight McGregor? Do you find it entertaining, or do you find it annoying?
I find it entertaining, but I also get a little bit of a annoyed feeling about it, just because I've worked my ass off to get where I got, and it's like we don't make pennies compared to what these guys are making. I know they did what they had to do to get there. That's great. The YouTube stuff, social media, they worked hard too, but now it's like they just jump into the sport and take over because of the fame aspect versus the hard work ethic and the amount of hours put into the sport to get to this high level, so that bothers me. But
okay. Yeah, no, it's been kind of interesting to watch on the outside. Speaking of YouTube, you've been killing it on your channel. I always love watching your picks and your breakdowns, and of course you're rapping as well. And I know we the other day on Twitter, I don't usually do this because I hate tagging other people, but my buddy Tavon, who's been doing some prediction raps and stuff. Have you seen his work? Did you happen to check him out after I tagged him?
After you tagged him, I watched a little bit. I saw that was pretty cool. He kind of threw a lot of names in there, and he was like, talking about the event, the fights. I thought that was an interesting touch.
Yeah, I think it would be cool. He's in DC, but imagine if you guys ever came together and did like a collaboration, because you guys both talk about fighting, right? I think that's pretty unique.
Yeah, I think if we did like some kind of entrance music or something, I could walk out to the song. That'd be cool.
Yeah, no, I think it's. I love seeing sort of musicians or people who are talented like yourself talking about MMA, because it's just not something that's very common. So I think there's kind of an interesting lane for both of you, I think, in the sport, which would be kind of cool. At the time of recording this morning, I was listening to Sports Talk Radio. It sounds like Gary Bettman's kind of being lull on the season when it's going to start. I think he said they're probably going to start mid-January. January 13th was the date I was hearing. But what are you expecting to see hockey next month? What do you think?
I'm hoping so, man. I feel like I've been like withdrawn from hockey lately. You know, there's just only fights really is what I watch. Besides that, it's a little bit of football lately, but I miss hockey, man. I think getting in my house, setting up that nice TV, having that couch, sit down, watch some hockey games to start off the year would be amazing.
Yeah, and I think, one of the kind of the bummers, like, I mean, it's kind of cool, but it looks like they're changing the divisions because of the whole, COVID bubble. So it looks like all the Canadian teams are going to play each other, which is kind of cool. But at the same time, I think I'm going to get sick of watching Winnipeg or Ottawa or whoever over and over again. Do you like that idea? Because I think the same thing will apply to you guys, where you'll keep playing the same teams.
Yeah, I didn't know that they were switching things up like that. That's
just for this season, I think, just with the whole COVID bubble thing.
Yeah,
right?
To keep it kind of tighter knit. But I think I'll get sick of it too after a little while. It's like the same teams. It's cool to see change, but to have the same teams over and over, it's like you want something new,
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And last question, what are the plans for the holidays? You got the fight coming up, but getting in any Christmas time or whatever. You're moving into the new house, so I'm sure you got a lot going on.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of shopping, that's for sure, and trying to get ready for that. We're like almost at the closing stage, so we're right there. I have a feeling it's going to happen right before I have to leave for Abu Dhabi, so I probably won't be able to enjoy that until I get back from the fight, but that'll be nice because right after fights is when I have my most like free downtime, so I'll be able to enjoy that and kind of situate the house, but I'll probably just relax for the holidays, just keep my diet going and stay focused.
Boom. Always appreciate the time, man. I know you're a busy guy. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, any sponsors you got, and your YouTube channel, man. The floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks, man. Always good to talk to you. Social media, Brian Boom 135 on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Brian Kelleher, my name, and then my sponsors. I got Extend, Gorilla Wear, Turp House, Vita Cryotherapy. So thanks a lot to those guys.